Welcome to the Education Podcast, where it's all about helping you unleash your greatness. Well, kia ora whānau, talofa lava, malolele. My name is Pussy, and this is my wonderful wife Sandra here. Let's see that smile. There we go. All right, on camera. Welcome to our show today. Hey, if this is your first time, welcome. Our podcast or our shows are always about helping people unleash their greatness through education. Now, whether you're in business, you're an owner, whether you're a team leader, or you're part of a team, or you just wanting to progress in life in general, this is the right show to be on. This is where we invite guest speakers or ourselves, where we share our thoughts, inspiration, motivation to help people move forward in life in general. And it's all about helping you achieve your potential or unleashing your greatness. But hey, got my lovely wife here, and today's show we are going to talk about, do you want to tell them?
Passion and purpose.
Passion and purpose. What is passion? What is purpose? We hear it a lot. For some people it can be quite confusing. Some people know what it is, but they just don't know how to find their purpose or feel a sense of fulfillment in what they do, put some meaning behind what they do, and also feel passionate about it as well. And so we're going to provide some tips on this show for you around how to find your passion or your purpose. But first of all, let's define what purpose and passion is. Maybe let's start with purpose. For you, Sandra, what does purpose mean for you?
I think purpose for me is simply put, what motivates you to do the things you do. Why do you do what you do? It's a lot of do's.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's basically it.
It's your why.
Yeah, your why.
Your why. Like, no matter what you do, what's the why behind it? Right? Like, all human beings, all of us have this need to contribute or to be a part of something meaningful, right? Like a purpose, like, you know, what's our focus in life? What am I dedicating my life to that has a lot of meaning, right? We all have that need as human beings. And for me, a purpose, just like what Sandra said, you know, it's your why, but it's also something that you could almost say it's something that you live for, but it's something that's service oriented as well, right? It gives you a reason to serve, right? Like for me, education, right? Our mission or our purpose is to unleash people's greatness through education. That's the why. That's, you know, every meeting that we have, every lesson, every conversation, every decision, everything revolves around that purpose, around helping people unleash their greatness, right? And we do that through education. So it's very service oriented in itself, right? And it gives me a lot of meaning behind everything we do is education. Like I said, meetings, conversations, decisions, etc. And I guess, why is purpose so important for you, Sandra? Why is it so important?
I think having a purpose can help you get through both good and tough times. You know, I think, you know, we all know that as you continue on in life, that it's not just this perfect straight ride. You know, there's a lot of bumps and, you know, things that come up. And I think when you have a purpose, it allows you to hold on and keep going and pushing through. And also in the good times, it allows you to enjoy the fulfillment of that purpose as well. So yeah, it's a powerful thing.
Yeah, it is powerful, and I love that you said even during hard times you keep going, and that's the power behind having a purpose. Is like, yeah, it helps give you a focus in life. Like, you know where you're going, you know why you're doing it. You know, and no matter how hard it is, it's still worth it. Your why or your purpose is still worth it. And so, like, I guess, what would your advice be, Sandra? Like, maybe if I ask you, if it's all right with you, what would you say your purpose is? And how did you find it? Or how did you arrive there? I mean, the reason why I'm asking this is because there's a lot of people out there who don't even know where to start.
I think for me, it's definitely been a journey, and it does change with life circumstances. And I've found that my purpose varies for different situations that I'm in. So, for example, Pasi and I have children, and a key part of my role at home is to be with the children. And so when I'm with my children, my purpose is for them is to love them, and that doesn't necessarily mean giving them everything they want, but setting rules and boundaries, and so my purpose is to, like I said, love them. Whereas when I'm at work, my purpose is to serve the business in a way that helps us become productive and effective and efficient. And so when I'm completing my role here at Education, that's my purpose at work. It's to do those things. And I think for me, I think it may be a reflection of my personality as well, but your purpose does have to allow for some flexibility in current, whatever situation you're in. And I've found that although I might have 2 or 3 purposes, each of them still has allowed me to have more meaning in my life.
I love that. It's a really good point. Like, when we're talking about a purpose, it doesn't have to be this one thing that defines your whole life and your existence. Hey, some people do have a purpose that's big like that, where it's just, it transfers into everything they do, whether it's work or family or personal, whatever it is. They have that purpose that's like that compass for them, right? And I like what Sandra said. I like that she mentioned the word journey. Like, your purpose can evolve. It doesn't have to be this thing that it is what it is. Like, and if it changes, then it must not be your purpose. Like, don't get the idea in believing that your purpose is this one thing and stays that way throughout your whole life. Like, it can evolve. Like she talked about when she had kids, or when we had kids, right? You change, right? Like, comparing to not having kids, single and all that, now to having a family, like, the meaning of life kind of changes for you, and it evolves, and so does your purpose, right? So keep that in mind. But I also want to say, like, don't feel bad if you don't know what your purpose is yet. Okay, remember the key word, yet. Okay, don't feel bad. Don't feel like you're not worthy or your existence means nothing just because you don't know what your purpose is. And it takes time. We all, like Sandra said, we're all on a journey, and you can't compare my journey to your journey. We're all at different stages, etc. And so keep that in mind. Don't feel unworthy just because you don't have a purpose yet. Like, don't tie your worthiness to having an established purpose. Okay? And keep in mind, like, where do you find a purpose? Where does it start? How do you craft it? Where does it come from? Right? For a lot of people, that journey is different, and where they are to how they arrive to that sense of purpose. Okay, so we know the power behind the purpose. It gives power to everybody, no matter what stage in life. But it's like, how do you craft it? Where does it come from? So, what would be some tips that you would, I guess, provide, Sandra? Maybe some practical tips for people out there who don't know where to start when it comes to, like, finding their purpose.
I think you've touched on it a little bit. Your purpose should be something that's yours. So, we can have a lot of things in our ears. It might be whatever, entertainment, social media, family, friends, whatever, that can come into your mind and be like, this is your purpose. But no, I think a purpose should firstly be influenced from within you. And you have to be willing to listen to what is being said. What are you saying about you? So you have to be willing to listen for that purpose, and block everybody else out.
Yeah.
Don't let anyone tell you what that is, and don't let anybody impact what your purpose is.
I love that. It's, the answer is inside of you. right? Purpose is something that you create for yourself. It's not this thing that you go and find outside of yourself in an external environment. The answer is inside of you, and sometimes it's just a matter of asking the right questions, right? And looking within yourself to really find, like for me, for example, my purpose came from my own story, my upbringing, and the pains I went through, right? My purpose started from my pain. Like when through education, I struggled. Like education was very hard for me. I felt useless. I felt like, man, I compared myself to the other kids and other people. I remember applying for my master's degree. My application got declined 2 times. But even with those pain points, I got to the other end, right? I got my bachelor's in product design. I've got my master's in marketing and graduated, one of the top in class, and, because I've been through that, I know the pain, but I also know the other side, making it through and what it takes to get there. That's where my passion, my sense of purpose comes from. It's from my pain. Like, I don't want anybody to experience what I did. I want them to benefit from what I did. And if they've gone through similar pain points, hey, like, I'm here to help you, right? My purpose is to help you unleash your greatness, because my purpose is very service oriented. I'm here to help you solve a problem, right? So maybe it's about thinking about, the kind of pains you went through in your life. Ask the questions, what did I struggle with? What were some of the pains I experienced in life? And, the pains that I was able to overcome or still overcoming at the moment, right? And, that gives me a sense of passion, and I want to go out there and be a hero and help other people and save them as well and bless them and serve them, help them get through what I went through. Maybe that's where you could start. That's where I started, and that's how I arrived at my purpose. Okay, well, there you go. So hopefully you understand, what is a purpose, and, hopefully you got some ideas around, how to find your purpose or how to craft one. It starts from inside of you, is what me and Sandra is saying. It's not this thing that you go and look outside. It's inside of you, right? So it's up to you to craft what it is. I would say focus on a problem that you love to solve, and that you're passionate about solving. Okay, make it service oriented. Now let's talk about passion. You want to talk about passion? Let's talk about passion, because people can confuse the two, right? Purpose and passion, right? Your purpose is your why, like we talked about. What is passion for you, Sandra?
Passion is, of course, a strong emotion.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it is also, when relating it back to us, is something that you really love doing. That you find joy in. And I suppose, that's why passion and purpose are quite linked, is that you find in your passions your purpose as well, a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
they're interlinked.
They're interconnected. You really can't. You can be passionate about something because, like you can feel excited and you just love doing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But purpose makes it focused.
Yes. Yeah.
Purpose makes your passion a little bit more focused. Like I talked about, your purpose is your why, and then it's more service oriented. If you can take what you're passionate about and make it very service oriented, where it really helps people, that gives meaning behind what you do. It's more than just like, I do it because I love doing it. No, you're doing it because you love doing it, and it's actually making an impact, a positive impact. You're making a positive impact. Now that's why they need to go hand in hand. I agree with Sandra. Passion is like, it's an emotion, it's a feeling that you have, right? You could feel passionate about something that you're doing. Some people are passionate about painting, some people are passionate about designing, some people are passionate about starting businesses or passionate about teaching, it can go on and on and on, right? And, but then again, people do struggle, like, I don't know what I'm passionate about. And I like this analogy of the ice cream, where it's like, you tell a young kid to find your favorite flavored ice cream. How do you know which one's your favorite? You go and try all the ice creams until you find the one that you love the most. And sometimes it's like that. Maybe sometimes it's about trying. Don't just try anything. Try things that you're really interested in, right? That you can really see yourself doing, and you're like, yeah, I haven't done it before, but I kind of see myself enjoying it, right? Try those things, and maybe you'll find a passion there somewhere, right? Again, look at it in terms of a journey rather than like a treasure hunt.
I can give an experience. I mean, from a career perspective, at the age of 8 or so, I was very young when I thought I am going to be a physiotherapist in the NBA. And so for a long time, all of my decisions, right, were based, even in high school, I did all the sciences. I prepared myself to be able to do that. And that's what I thought my passion was. Okay. And so at the age of 16, I qualify for university, and I'm heading there, and I do my first general year in health, and I did really well, like A's and everything. And then the second semester, that's where you start to be a bit more specific in your course, right? So here I am, and I've done well my first semester, and I get into the second semester where it's really focused on what I'm wanting to do, and I'm struggling a bit. I'm like, this is not exactly this is not what I expected it to be. And so here I am, and I'm pushing, and I actually failed a couple of times, I think I've mentioned before.
Yeah.
And then I decide, I need a break. So I go to the Philippines, I learn a new language.
Nice.
And then I come back, and I'm like, you know what, I want to go to university, and I'm going to pursue that dream again. And so there I am at university in the States, and I'm doing these courses, and I'm still not, this is not really working out for me. I didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I would. And so then I come back, and then eventually I work, and I start getting involved in business. I have a very entrepreneurial family, so business, numbers, processes, and things like that. But it took me a while to finally get to where I wanted to be, and which I actually love and enjoy, which is every function of an operations of what I'm currently doing now. And so it takes time, like you're saying, but it also takes failure. You have to be okay to actually stink at something. If it doesn't work out, you have to be okay in finding your passions to actually fail at some things. When you're trying the ice cream, you're going to have some that you're like, oh, that was absolutely disgusting. But you wouldn't have known unless you tried it. And so, I think from what I'm trying to say is that it's okay to not be 100% successful straight off the bat. You have to try. Absolutely. You have to try stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like that. Like, you're not going to discover it just by, your passion. You're not going to discover it just by sitting there and doing nothing, right? Or looking at the clouds. You have to be proactive. You have to be moving, right? It's when you're moving and doing things, that's when you really discover things that you're passionate about, right? You don't have to have just one passion. And the other thing is, I love what Sandra talked about is it's about perspective as well. Like, just because you failed at something, or you spent like Sandra went and studied, right, at uni, physiotherapy. That's not what she's doing now. But she didn't say it was a waste of time. No. She said, no, it was worth the time, that perspective, because she learned a lot of stuff along the way, and, discovered some passions along the way. So it wasn't a waste. So it is a perspective. And also, just because, don't compare your passion to other people. I see this a lot where people are like, oh, I wish I was passionate like that person. I wish I was passionate like that guy. They look like they love what they're doing, right? Don't compare, right? Like, just because you got different passions, different passions doesn't mean different career paths. Okay, it's not like you have to do a specific degree to find a passion. Like, it's almost like when people are finding a passion for their life, it's like finding a major or bachelor's for their life, right? It's like, I'm going to be a doctor. That's my passion in life, right? No, it doesn't have to be like that, right? Your passion can be multiple things, and it can be a lot of things. So, and for me, I think passion is similar to purpose, where it's something that you create. It like with perspective. It starts with your thoughts. Like for me, like you could be doing something amazing, but maybe you're having a bad day. Maybe you're just distracted by something that's happened in the past, and it's really blocking you from the opportunity of really just marinating and enjoying it, right? Robbing you of the opportunity to really discover whether that's something that you're passionate about. And for me, it's like, it's like passion is something that you can practice, and you practice by thinking about things that make you feel passionate, right? Like you could sit there and be thinking about things that are just negative, draining. You're never going to feel passion that way if your thoughts are like that. But if you're doing something like, man, I love painting, or I love music because I'm singing with people, I'm with family. Like if you're thinking those kind of thoughts, of course you're going to feel passion, right? But if you're thinking other things like, oh man, it don't look good, or that's bad, that person's better than me, of course you're never going to feel passion. Passion is the opposite of that, right? So I think passion is something that you can practice, and you have to practice thinking about things that make you feel passionate, right? Think about, like, it might be family for you. Like, practice feeling passionate about your family. Whether it's going to the gym, like for me, I enjoy going to the gym. Like, think good thoughts that make you passionate about going to the gym. Awesome. Hey, anything to add from your side, just to break up what I'm saying, because I feel like I'm a preacher here.
No, I think I don't know if this is a separate discussion or not, but having passions doesn't necessarily mean that you have to turn it into a job or turn it into a business, I think is another thing. From living in the Philippines, I realized that I do love learning languages. Have I made it into a job? No. But am I passionate enough for me to, read books and work on my tonation and things like that with learning the language? Yes. But I've not turned it into a job. And the same thing with cooking. For a long time I thought, we're going to have a cooking business, I think, because I really love it and I'm good at it. But no, it's actually, my purpose behind that was I enjoyed it because it allowed people to come together. And so I think that you have to be open enough to that as well, is that not every passion that you have is going to turn into a business or turn into wealth or, I think passions is about discovering who you are and, understanding to what point do you take that passion, whether it's just remains something that you love to do or whether it translates into a job that you are going to do in the future. So it's knowing, and I think again listening to yourself as to what really ticks the boxes for what you're doing. So because it is easy to do that, and I found that I've done that quite often sometimes. So it's you have to find that.
It doesn't have, there is no rule that says that your passion and your purpose in a job have to be the same thing, right? Your job doesn't have to necessarily be it's not like a tick box, right? And it's not a must, but hey, I am a big believer of you can always find a way, whether it's directly or indirectly, connecting your passion to your job or to your purpose. Like, the power comes when your purpose and your passion aligns. It doesn't matter if whatever job or whether you're in church or out doing community stuff, you've got to take your purpose with you, or you've got to have a purpose behind everything that you do, and find a way to be passionate about it. Because if you're not passionate about it, even though you understand the importance of it, your motivation's only going to last so long, right? So I definitely am a big believer of there is a way of connecting your passion and your purpose together, and also within a job or a business. But there is no rule saying that you have to, and don't feel bad if you don't have it yet. Like what Sandra said, with pain and struggles, like let that purpose take you through that pain and struggle. You might not be passionate about the struggle and the pain that you're going through at the moment, but you eventually you will be at the end of it, on the other side, because your purpose will help you carry you through. Mind you that it's still worth it. But there you go. I guess any final thoughts from you, Sandra, as we wrap this podcast up, or this show?
No, I think I've mentioned it before, but I just think that it's a very individual thing, finding your passion and your purpose, and just listen to yourself. And I don't mean to block everyone out in terms of don't listen to what people tell you are good at, whatever, but just listen to what inside is saying. Yeah. That's it.
I would also say, echo that as well, is just spend some time with yourself. We get so busy giving our attention to a lot of things that we don't really give attention to ourselves, and really looking inward and understanding what it is that moves the needle for us. Whether you pull out a piece of paper and just list down the things that you really love doing, or even thinking ahead and be like, what kind of person do I want to be? What kind of contribution do I want to make? Right? Like I'm sure you can find something that you want to do, or a meaning that you want to give. And sometimes it's just starting there. So it might not be something that you're currently doing, but it might be something that you want to strive for. So
I think, sorry, I just thought of something else, barriers, and I think you talked about it a little bit. It's just, I think it's very easy when you start having doubts, like you're discovering your things that you love and doing, and then you have doubts, like, actually I'm not good at that. So that can't be a passion, even though I do really like it, or I can't, like you said, I can't do this, so therefore it can't be a passion. I mean, your mind just shuts down when you say I can't, or I don't know how, because your mind immediately doesn't think of any other option or solution. It just shuts it down. So I think allowing no boundaries when you're in that space to finding your purpose. And passion.
It's interesting. We're just about to wrap up the podcast, but we feel like adding more. I'm going to share this piece as well, because Sandra just brought up a good point, and I don't want you guys to miss out. And that is, if you are finding those barriers or those negative filters that are making you doubt yourself, right? Every time you try to focus on something positive, maybe it's something that you have to reflect on, as uncomfortable as it may seem, that you have to address, and maybe look at it with perspective and ask yourself, how has this made me a better person, or how can it make me a better person? What have I learned from this that's helped me grow, that I can maybe use to pass on to other people and pay it forward, right? Otherwise, if you don't look at it like that, you are going to be tied down, and nothing's going to be resolved. It's going to keep pulling you back from moving forward, right? So it is important. Don't ignore those kind of things. If you are finding those pop-ups that are always saying, hey, doubt, face them with positive questions, so that you can get positive gems from them and move forward, right? And again, coming back to what I said before, practice passion, or practice thoughts, thinking about thoughts that make you feel positive, make you feel passionate about things, all right? And so we'll leave it at that. We hope that you have gained a lot of value and some good insights on, what is passion, what is purpose, and how do I find it? Thank you for joining us on our show. Enjoy the rest of your week.